Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome to another episode of Zen-Oh Button. Today we're going to be going over the cards that were revealed the past 2 days that are mainly supporting Universe 7. I'm going to start the ones yesterday, and then I will go with the ones that were revealed this morning. So, starting off, we have Catastrophic Blow, a multicolor red-blue extra card, which seems to be like the new big thing for U7. It's got Energy Exhaust. Its activating main is pretty wild. If you have a red-blue multicolor Son Goku card in play, so it just says in play, it doesn't say in the battle area or leader area. So what that means is if you're playing that new red-blue Surge Goku leader, you're always going to have that set. And then the other one is, or there are no battle cards in your battle area, deal 1 damage to your opponent. So this seems like, well, 5 energy to deal 1 damage. Yeah, I mean, that can be kind of good, especially as of this point in the game, there are 0 interactions with extra cards, which might change going into the future. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong if there is something, but from my understanding, everything that stops any kind of effect, it only works on battle cards. So this is kind of like a guaranteed 1 damage. However, with the new Invoker ability, which will be one of the cards later on in here, you can make this a 1 cost. However, the caveat to that is you need to have that Son Goku card in play. So whether you have to play that multicolor battle card or you have to play that leader card, there are definitely some restrictions to this, but if you have that leader card, the Surge red-blue Goku leader card, and then you have that Invoker Frieza out, you are doing 1 damage for 1 energy, which is absolutely insane, especially when you can't really interact with it at all. So it's pretty wild. And then the activate main, I think, is the same for most of the extra cards in this set. You send the card from the drop area to the warp, then you look at the top card of the deck. If it's a multicolor extra card, you can add it to your hand, otherwise place it on top of your deck. So it seems like the archetype is very much leaning towards rewarding you for running a lot of extra cards, but as with any deck running a lot of extra cards, there's always the risk that you can't really combo. But pretty solid card, definitely. I think some relatively fair mechanics, especially, you'll see the Invoker Frieza, I don't think it has Deflect or Barrier, so it's very fragile and it can die, and it's a 3 energy, so. Moving on, Royal Condemnation, multicolor, 2 red, 2 blue, cost, Energy Exhaust. If your leader card is a Universe 7 card, if the battle card being played has an energy cost of 8 or less, it is placed at the bottom of its owner's deck instead of being played. So that is freaking insane. Like, I don't even know how many cards are above 8. Like, it's got to be under 10 cards in the entire game that are above 8. Like, even the Secret Rares, I'm pretty sure, are usually 8 drops. So, like, this is insane. Once again, it's a high energy cost, but if you have that Invoker out, this is literally 1 energy. 1 energy to place that card on the bottom of the owner's deck, which is like almost as good as placing it in the drop, because it's like they have no way to get it unless it's like a card they can search from their deck. But pretty freaking insane, definitely something to look out for. There's a lot of like really insane counterplays in this set, I think, and like even arrivals that just, it is no longer really, I used to think it was no longer safe to go for game before, but now in this new set it's like no longer safe ever to go for game. Activate main is the same as the other one. You just send it to the warp, then you look at the top card if it's an extra card. So pretty good as the ability to kind of replace itself after you use it. Emperor's Death Beam, and this is another card I was talking about. It's an activate main / battle, which is pretty wild. Choose up to one of your opponent's energy. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and it gets minus 30k power for the duration of the turn. So, like, I don't know. I think what they're gonna realize the mistake with this set is they are ignoring barrier, I think, a little bit too much. So, like, and I get it, barrier is very annoying, but, like, it had a purpose, because when it was introduced, I believe in set 3, like, everyone was getting killed. Like, all cards could never stay on the board. So barrier was a way for it to actually stay on the board. Now, then they started to abuse it a little bit. They probably gave it to cards they shouldn't have, aka Gogeta 7. That card should not have barrier and deflect. Those 2 abilities should never be freaking tied together. But now it's like, I don't know. Like, this card's super powerful, especially once again, if you have that Invoker out, for 1 energy, minus 30k power for the duration of the turn. Even if they boost up the leader card, right? I mean, not the leader card. Even if they boost up their battle card, they play a 4-star, whatever they do, and minusing 30 doesn't kill it, you're still minusing 30k combo power. Like, that is absolutely ridiculous. It's freaking insane. Once again, for 1 energy. Even for 3 energy, if you're in a pinch, like... I mean, granted, you'd probably be better off comboing 110ks, but your opponent's card is a 30k, and, like, they haven't boosted it up at all, and you do this, you can literally just kill their card. So, super powerful. Like I said, I'm a little bit I'm not the biggest fan that they keep ignoring barrier. Like, I feel like now it's just barrier is just going to be a complete and utter waste of time. But anyways, the activate main, send this card from drop area to your warp, same ability. And then here is the Invoker. 3 energy, 1 red, 1 blue, Golden Frieza, Sovereign Technique. I don't think I read the name of the other one is Emperor's Death Beam. This Golden Frieza, Sovereign Technique, Energy Exhaust, Invoker, and then I'll read the ability. When paying the energy cost for a red-blue multicolor extra card, so it only applies for red-blue, you can switch 1 red-blue multicolor energy to rest mode instead. So, that's the ability. Auto, if your leader card is a Universe 7 card, when you play this card, look up to 5 cards on top of your deck, choose up to 1 red-blue multicolor extra card among them, add it to your hand, then place the remaining cards on the top or bottom of your deck in any order. So that's actually pretty cool. You can look at top 5, hopefully grab a multicolor, and then you can decide like, I don't really need these cards. You put them on the bottom, and that's kind of like 4 cards you've filtered through. So that's pretty cool. And then if there are cards that you want, you put them in any order on the top too. So it's like, all right, I really want this card. So this is pretty cool. This card, so I think where Invoker is balanced is you need to pay 3 energy for this dude to get out, and then he needs to survive. He doesn't have barrier, he doesn't have deflect, he is super fragile. So like, I think at this point in the game, like almost every deck, you will need an answer to your opponent playing battle cards, because like a card like this cannot stay on the board, and he gets hit by a lot of the counter plays like Absolute Release Ball, Focus Breakthrough, Denial of Hope, Vegeta the Cruel, the Gohan that sends it back to hand. I mean, I'm sure I'm forgetting a bunch of cards, but there's a lot of answers to this, and I think that's going to be huge now in any deck to be viable, is to like not let this Invoker stay on board if this winds up turning into an archetype. Like I said, I'm saying all the effects are super broken, but once again, they do require setup. So, you know, in my mind, it's like, oh, this card's broken as hell, but if they can never get the Invoker to stay on the board, or like, then, you know, it's really not that good. So we'll see what happens with that, but I think it's going to require more removal, more spot removal in decks, and a lot more counter plays to not let this guy stay on the board. Next, Tournament of Power Arena. 1 blue energy is 1 cost, it's a field. If your leader card is a Universe 7 card, negate the energy exhaust of all red-blue multicolor cards in all areas. So this is freaking sick, honestly, just negating the energy exhaust. Even I'm thinking of going back to like U7 Frieza, like all the way back there. You know, a lot of these cards would be super helpful, but, you know, kind of putting a card in energy and rest mode is a little bit wasteful, especially when U7 Frieza has Warriors of Universe 7, so it's like, why do I need a multicolor when I can just play whatever? But if you can play this card turn 1, and then you can start charging multicolors, like, you can really start taking advantage of all the multicolor red-blue extra card possibilities. But anyways, that's just the permanent, which I think that alone would have been sick. But Activate Main is really good too. If your leader card is Universe 7 and you switch this card to rest mode, look at up to top 3 cards from the top of your deck, then place them on the top or bottom of your deck in any order. So essentially, this is like some crazy filtering again. You can look at the top 3 and be like, oh, I want this card, so I'm gonna put this on the top and I'm gonna leave it there. If you're running like U7 Frieza or even Android 17 leader, I'll go into later, like you have another way to draw cards that turn. You can be like, I need this card, I'm going to put this on top. Or if you're like, these 3 cards are absolutely useless, just pop them on the bottom. And then now it's like you was successfully kind of just filtered through 3 cards. Like, filtering through decks is super huge, especially in this ability. You're doing this on turn 1. Like I said, I'm looking at U7 Frieza in my mind. Like, turn 1, charge a blue, play out this field. Then you look at the top 3, and if it's not something you need, pop it on the bottom, right? And then you use the leader's ability, drop 1, draw 2. So it's like, you've essentially seen 5 cards. Like, I get they're not in your hand, but like it really helps you kind of get the pieces you need. So that's super awesome. Then here we are Universe 7. It's a 1-cost red extra card. Choose one. It's an activate main. Choose up to 1 Universe 7 card from your drop area, add it to your hand. That's pretty awesome, especially in U7 Frieza, because you're dropping so many cards in the drop area, like, you know, and sometimes you wind up dropping a card you need later on. Like, this could be super freaking clutch. And then choose up to 1 Universe 7 card with an energy cost of 4 or less from your deck, add it to your hand, then shuffle your deck. So you can grab super combos, you can grab, you know, pieces that you need, whatever. This card is freaking fantastic. Definitely a big fan of it. A lot of cool Universe 7 support. I kind of wish they added, like, Universe 7 represented, they added the special trait tag of Universe. Just because then maybe if you even wanted to, you could run it in Zen-Oh, the black Zen-Oh leader, which I really want to try to make a deck with. Maybe I'll be able to with some of this U7 support. But regardless, really good card, 1 energy, and you're either grabbing from the drop or grabbing from the deck. It's pretty awesome. And that was the last card. And then I forgot one other thing I want to say on this is, yeah, it's actually someone wrote it in the comments on Facebook that I don't know why they tied this just to Universe 7. I think it should be Universe leaders in general. I mean, it is the Tournament of Power, everyone was in it, so, and I think that would be cool support for everyone to have. So that kind of sucks a little bit, but I mean, still super good. I mean, U7 is definitely the, like, premier archetype of the universes, so, you know, the best one got the support. But so pretty cool cards. Those are the ones revealed yesterday. Now I'm gonna go into the ones revealed today. We got Android 17. Card art's actually kind of funny. It looks really cool, but it almost looks like a black card. When I saw it, I was like, oh man, Android 17's a black leader right now. But then I realized, if you look in the bottom right corner and the top right, like leader front, it is actually a blue card. It just has basically 0 blue on it, which is kind of funny, but regardless, moving into it, Android 17. When this card attacks a leader card, draw 1 card. So once again, I always just like abilities where, you know what I mean? Like, even if you're getting stalled out or something, just swinging at lead and drawing a card, like, never hurts at all. Activate main, choose once per turn. Choose 1 Universe 7 card in your hand. Place it in your drop area. Draw 1 card. So, definitely not bad. You're not plussing off of it, but it can help you filter out. Like, if you have a bunch of cards that are kind of clogging your hand up that are U7. This is where I think it would have been super helpful if the extra cards had the Universe 7 trait. But I think they also at the same time really wanted to get the Invoker ability off, so I get it, they're trying to balance cards, make them good, but try not to make them too broken. So, cool ability, like I said, to filter through. You're not plussing your hand, but you're not minusing anything, so not a bad ability, definitely not a bad ability. And then Awaken, when your life is at 4 or less, you may draw 1 card, and then untap 1 energy. So, those aren't bad. I think, you know, when Untap 2 came out, back in, like, set 3, everyone started to hate Draw 2, but, like, honestly, Draw 2 is not bad, because usually with Draw 2, you don't mind Awakening on your opponent's turn. Like, if they're coming at you, you just Awaken, you don't even think about it, and you plus 2 cards, so. But Untap 1, Draw 1, not bad. All the Awakenings are pretty solid. And then here's the backside, Android 17, Universal Guardian. Some pretty sweet art, looks pretty cool. Auto, when this card attacks, draw 1 card. Sick. Activate main, 1 red, 1 blue. Choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, return it to its owner's hand. So built-in removal on the leader with no energy requirement. That's pretty awesome. Then choose up to 1 Universe 7 card in your drop area and add it to your hand. So, that's actually pretty sick. If there's, like, say you have, like, a big boss monster in your hand, right? You're like, I don't need this right now. I'd much rather have my, like, little weenies or my drawing cards. You use the front side, activate main, put it in the drop, draw another card that's hopefully helpful. Then once you awaken, if your opponent has some big boss monster out, just send it back to their hand. And where this is really good especially is against, like, Baby, where they have this whole chain to play an ape out, right? You send that top of the chain to their deck, all of the cards underneath are going to the drop, and it's like, it requires a lot of cards and work to get up to, like, the end of the ape chain. So in decks like that, this is really good, or just a big boss monster that's, like, aggravating to you. Like, yeah, it's annoying sending it back to the hand, but a lot of times, like, you're better off just getting it off the board. And then being, and it says choose up to one, so if you're really in a pinch, you can pay 1 red, 1 blue, and just grab a card from your drop area, add it to your hand. So that's a really cool ability. Then he has the second one. If there are 9 or more multicolor extra cards and or Universe 7 cards in your drop area, this card gets plus 5k power, double strike, and critical for the duration of the turn. So 20k double strike crit. That's pretty powerful. Getting 9 or more, I don't know how easy it's going to be. I think if you're going to want to do that, you're going to have to use the front side to activate main every single turn. And then, you know, with comboing or doing whatever you're doing, I guess 9 is a attainable number. Probably not super easy. I don't think you'll get it. You know, it's not like you're going to get this like the first few turns unless you run one of those cards that automatically burst through your deck, which might be a possibility. I don't know. But definitely a really cool ability. You know, this leader has some, you know, he has Universe 7, and he has some like pretty cool abilities on the card, so definitely not bad. I wish he had Warriors of Universe 7, but you know, you can't have everything. So definitely a cool leader. I'm excited to play it. They've actually been giving the androids a lot of love the past few sets. And then there's even a green-yellow is going to be android as well. So some pretty cool stuff. But moving forward, this extra card's pretty awesome. Permanent, you can activate this card to activate battle from your hand without paying its energy cost. So that's pretty sweet. Activate main. If your leader card is blue, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, return it to its owner's hand, then draw 2 cards. This is sick. Like, even in the blue-green ramp decks, like Android 18, I have a blue-green ramp one. This card is awesome. 3 energy. Get rid of any card, ignoring barrier. So you have some pesky card that's just, you know, really ruining your day sitting there, especially like a Piccolo assimilated ability, something like that. Send that back to their hand before they can get the effect off on it. And then you draw 2 cards. Now, 3 energy, a little bit steep, but in a ramp deck, like 3 energy, especially if it's like they're playing a more control-y deck, like you are easily going to be getting to 5 energy without even like thinking about it. So paying 3 energy to get rid of one of their cards and then draw 2, like, definitely pretty awesome. Big fan of that. And I like this new activate battle. You choose up to one of your leader cards or battle cards, and it gets plus 5k power for the duration of the battle. So essentially, this is now kind of like a battle card where it's not clogging up your hand anymore. But since there's really no like counter to extra cards, like, you know what I mean? It's pretty good. Like, granted, you can't play it and attack with it, but now it's like you have these almost like uninteractable effects. Like, there's very few cards that actually stop extra cards. I'm thinking, like, the only one I can think off the top of my head is that 6-drop Overwhelm Fu that makes you can't play any skills. Like, that is one of those few cards. The triple attack Fu makes you warp a card for using skills. That triple strike Frieza from TOP that makes you crit yourself for skills. Like, there are things that make you stop extra cards, but they are very, very few. So this just allows you, like, your extra cards really aren't clogging your hand anymore. This is awesome. It's just tied to blue leaders. Huge fan of this. Definitely am going to add this. I'm going to try to find room. I don't know if it's a main deck. It actually might be a main deck in ramp decks, like blue-green ramp, but super awesome. Big fan of it. And here is the multicolor super combo that we were promised. Beerus, Divine Obliterator, red-blue. It's a super combo, energy exhaust. Auto. If your leader card is red or blue, and it's your opponent's turn, when you combo this card from your hand, choose up to one of your red-blue multicolor energy and switch it to active mode. So, this is very different than one of all the previous super combos. They've always really been tied to either life or like drop. This one has just play on your opponent's turn. So like technically, like, this card is live turn 1, which is pretty wild. It has the printed on 0-10k combo, so like, you know, even on your turn if you're going for game, granted you're not getting a draw, but you know, you're getting still a free 10k combo power, and it's a rival fodder. So this card is insane. You combo with it, and if you're doing this on your opponent's turn, you combo and you're untapping an energy, and you can play in a rival card. Like, it's absolutely insane. Like, really freaking good. But I do like how they tied it to your opponent's turn, so you can't rival like super crazy on your turn Like, you can't get the untap on your turn. I think they balance it a bit, and it's not drawing you a card. Although, granted, if you play an Arrival that draws you a card... Oh, my cat's coming up here. If you play an Arrival that draws you a card, then it's kind of like drawing a card, and since you're untapping an energy, you know, it's pretty broken. So this is definitely going to see some degenerate plays in the cooler deck, playing that one cooler that's a Rival red, and it just minuses 10k from 2 cards, ignoring barrier. Hey, what are you doing? Get out of here. Minuses 10k from 2 cards, ignoring barrier, and just you're gonna mill your opponent. Super broken. So this is gonna be huge in that. Cease to exist. This is kind of the, compared to that other 3-drop, the Barrier of Hope. This is the red version of it. It has the same activate battle. It's a 5k combo, and then it's activate main. If your leader card is red, choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and they get minus 25k power for the duration of the turn. So I really don't like how they keep ignoring barrier with a bunch of cards, but I think red is a leader or a color archetype that needs something to ignore barrier. Like, this honestly might not be a bad thing to play in Red Baby as like a 1 or a 2 of, just because you can always clear the board, but the second someone throws out like a barrier card, like, it always just halts you, and it's super annoying. This is very high cost. Like, I wish it was 2 energy, especially since you're not getting any additional plus, like you're not drawing cards or anything like that. But this could definitely be really good in Red Baby. And I see in the comments, yeah, someone said Frieza Prison, Frieza, whatever you want to say. This would actually be really solid in that. The cooler leader, this would be solid in. Like, it's giving red has a lot of ability to control the board, but barrier is definitely a bit of an issue. So I think adding ignore barrier to red is okay, as long as they keep it in check, and this card is very much in check. Like, it's 3 energy. I think the only card so far that is not in check is that 5-drop cooler, no, the 5-drop Frieza that minuses 30k from the entire board, ignoring barrier, and he's a triple strike. Like, that card is not cool. That card is not cool. Anyways, moving on, Metacooler Core, Titanic Glare. It's 4-drop red card, 1 red specified. It's a 0/5k. Activate main, choose 1 card from your hand or 1 big Jeet or Geet, I don't know. I don't really know cooler at all. Big Geet star in your battle area. Place it under this card. So you choose one or the other. Choose up to 1 Metacooler Core card from your deck or hand other than Metacooler Core. Titanic Glare. So you can't choose this dude. Play it on top of this card in active mode, then shuffle your deck if you look through it. So honestly, I don't really know the cooler deck at all. So maybe that can grab like the super rare from set 2. I have no idea. I'm going to assume this is pretty good. I'm not really a Metacooler Core fan. So for those of you out there that like this deck, I think this is actually some pretty good support. I don't know if you can cheat him out a little quicker, because he only has 1 red specified. I don't know if there's something that makes him get a lower cost. I can't really make too much of a comment on this card, but congrats to the Metacooler fans out there. This seems like a pretty decent card for him. And then Frieza Undying Emperor, 2 blue. Counterplay. If the battle card being played has an energy cost of 3 or less, it is returned to its owner's hand instead of being played, then play this card. So this is pretty cool, actually. It's a Universe 7, so if you're playing Wars of Universe 7, any 2 cards, you play this dude, you're sending a card back to their hand, you're adding a card to your field. This is something that you could add to the Black Zen-Oh leader. Like I said, when I'm looking at this set, I'm looking at things I can add to the Black Zen-Oh leader, because he's not really that good, but he looks awesome, and all universe have no specified cost. So in my head, I'm trying to come up with something really good for him. I think it'd be a really fun deck. I don't think I could come up with something crazy competitive, but I think it's something competitive, like, you know, competitive enough at a locals where I'm not gonna like hopefully lose every single match. But yeah, this card's pretty decent. It doesn't have an auto on play, so that actually kind of helps out in the sense that like your opponent's probably not gonna waste resources killing him, because he gets all of his effect in the counterplay. So unless they're doing the counter cooler, like, you know, yeah, they can maybe Vegeta the Cruel and make you lose a card on board and then warp a card in hand. Like, They might do something, but for the most part, like, you get the effect, and then he's just on the board, and it's like, they'll have to decide whether it's worth. Because if they waste resources on killing him, you're like, okay, cool, that's one less good card they're killing. And then if they don't, like, okay, cool, I have a 15k beater on board. So pretty sweet card. Got some decent utility to it. And that is the last card that was revealed. Some pretty decent stuff that was revealed the past 2 days. I'm excited for the Universe 7 support. Definitely want to try out this Android 17. He's pretty cool. Like, it kind of sucks he doesn't have the Warriors of Universe 7, as I said before, but his Awakened abilities are pretty sick. Grabbing the Universe 7 cards back from your drop area is pretty awesome. Especially, like, one thing to notice is this Beerus is actually a super combo. I mean, not Chisa. Obviously, he's a super combo. He is a Universe 7, and he's also a god, too. So those are some pretty decent tags. So you can even recycle your super combos, which could be pretty sick. As of right now, I don't think there's any Universe 7 Arrival red-blue cards. I don't know if this is all of the red-blue cards they've revealed, or if they still have some. I don't know exactly how they're doing it, because even yesterday they did reveal some red-blue cards, so I don't know how they're doing the reveal. Seems like they're just doing piecemeal every day. But from now, excuse me, from this point, I think the only red-blue Arrival that's been revealed has been that Cooler, which, granted, wouldn't be terrible in this deck, but you want to get some U7 support, so hopefully they add some support for it. But yeah, I mean, honestly, set 9 is looking pretty broken and pretty meta-defining. I'm excited for it. I'm a little sad with all the ignoring barrier, because I feel like it's just gonna shift the meta so much that a lot of old decks are going to be almost unplayable unless they have an answer to that 5-drop Frieza, which, you know, most decks should, but still. Oh, and then I just wanted to go back to that Frieza. Okay, so this is actually cool, because it actually, before the card is even played, so most of the battle card counterplays, they affect when the card reaches the field, and then you can play your card. So the opponent's going to get the auto. I just realized with this, instead of being played, it's sent back to the owner's hand. So this actually stops the auto from happening. So honestly, pretty solid. Definitely a really good card. I'm probably going to throw that in my black Zen-Oh deck. But anyways, I just want to thank you guys for watching. Keep your eyes posted. We'll definitely, me and Iris will have a battle video, hopefully up by the end of the weekend. And then I'm also planning on doing a budget deck video where I'll probably do a series of them depending on how popular it gets. But I'm just going to focus on three or so decks. They might not be the newest sets, but it's going to be decks that are pretty cheap. My goal is to make them under 50 bucks. They're pretty cheap, and they're actually, like, playable at a local level where you could take a locals, and it just gives you something where, like, you don't want to, like, grab a starter deck and you're gonna get absolutely stomped. It's like, you can get this deck under 50 bucks and do halfway decent with it. But anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to press that Zen-Oh button.